here we are. Welcome to the 3 key skills to land awesome dates. I'm going to put you all on the top of my screen here. Great. I'm glad, Carrie, you can see everything. Awesome. So today, what I wanted to do with you was, make sure, here we go, is to empower you to land better dates and maybe even enjoy the process. A lot of times when we're dating and looking for someone to really bring out the best in us and inspire the best in us, it can start to feel like a numbers game. And I really feel like dating is a great opportunity to meet a human being and to say, wow, I know the world a little bit better through dating, and let's and this person's a great fit for me or not. So really, I really want to empower you to maybe enjoy the process a little bit more. Also, to say hello to common mistakes or misguided thoughts that many of us tend to have, even us good people. We can have some thoughts that are meant to do well, but it actually ends up self-sabotaging us a little bit. And then also to tune up the skills that do matter. So talking into some of those misguided thoughts, being able to really use some skills that can attract the solid human being that you want to connect with in your life, and ensure that you have the skills to sustain that kind of relationship. So really, this is about embodying your heart's desire and aligning to the frequency of the relationship you want to co-create. And by frequency, I have some specific things that I mean by that, and I think you'll understand what I mean by that by the end of it. If you don't, just like give me a comment, wave me down on the screen, whichever you want to do. So yeah, let me do this. So how did I discover this? Well, there's been several points in my life where I feel like the universe, God, life, whatever it was, karma, bad karma, good karma, whatever it is, forced me to really work on myself. And there were times when I really wanted to say it was somebody else's fault, like it really wasn't my fault. Like the time when my mother estranged me, and we were estranged for over 20 years at that point. And I finally just, I read a book and I said, okay, I need to decide to mother myself and take ownership of the emotions that I still have to this, because those are the parts that I own. And once I started mothering myself and giving myself the things that I was hoping that her or someone else who could play a mother-like figure in my life could do, actually, I then found out that I had the opportunity to meet her after 25 years. So that's one thing about doing the inner work, and then life kind of revealing a chance to mend or start a new relationship with somebody. And the same kind of thing actually happened to me too. And some of these, this skill set of this inner work here is when I tried a corporate job. I don't know if you know this about me, but I originally am a choreographer and a dancer. I'm an artist and free spirit at heart, very creative. And when you're in such a mindset, you're like, okay, what do I need to do to support my art? So I tried the corporate job thing. And my whole life, I just felt like it was sucked out of me. It just was not the right thing for me. But by that point, I'd done enough inner work to have faith that things would work out. So I'm going around, and Hurricane Sandy had just happened, and I happened to run into somebody at my astrology class, and she says that there's a job opening. And bottom line is I ended up landing what was my dream job at that time. I got to work part-time at a design firm doing accounting and office management for them. And basically I got a corner office and on the 15th floor overlooking the Hudson. And I still remember some of the sunset views to this day. It's absolutely gorgeous. So basically what I'm trying to get at is that I've been through very testing times. I've been through the gauntlet, I've been pushed to be at extremes where I don't think I couldn't handle it. And yet somehow I have the courage enough to go into that and accept that the universe gave me these kind of things to work on. And I think that I was given these kind of things so that I can help identify some of the subconscious stories, some of the the red flags and things that I could work on so that I could do eventually serve people like you and do that. So oh, these I did 2 clicks here. So this is what so I also did the same kind of process with my clients, and it worked for them too. So for example, one of my first clients I worked with, she had to go through the trauma of waking up one day next to her partner and realizing that she wasn't in love with him anymore. And she had a kid with him and it was a loveless marriage. So she felt like she had to leave it. And the work I did with her was help her rebuild her life by having control of the things she could control and stop being in the shoulds and being so catering to what other people wanted from her, and instead really start to value and embody the things that really lit her up. And from that process, she attracted a business partner that gave her the dream job right now that she has, that she absolutely loves. And she's still with her boyfriend that she had met at that time. And that's the type of relationship that she wants. She doesn't want to be in a marriage again. They're just in a committed relationship, living together. And she's basically attracted her ideal partner. And another person too did the same kind of thing. When I met her, she was really in an underwhelming relationship. She had just had to have an unwanted abortion. And basically, she was really going through a lot of stuff internally. But by bringing stuff back to her and starting to give her the confidence and voice to have her own opinions, especially opinions that are outside of her family and outside of her friends, everything she grew up with, she's actually started to have more confidence and happiness in her life. And today she's out of that relationship. And she's also out of an abusive work relationship that was coinciding with that. So she's doing things she loves and enjoying healthier boundaries. And when she wants, she invites other people to enjoy the things she loves, which she loves wrestling. She loves going to baseball games. She loves going to concerts and art and brunch. And basically, she has the confidence to be her eccentric self, which she felt too small to be before. So basically what I'm saying is there's something to this. It's not just me, it's working for other people. And I'm so happy to share some of these things with you too today. So just a little bit about me. I've been in the personal development space for over 8 years, and I've been for over a decade, and I've been a coach for 8 years. I've helped women in love, business, and life. And about 2 years ago, I specifically started to concentrate on the areas of love and relationship because I felt a calling to do things more than on one-on-one. And this is what I intuited to do. And honestly, it scared me. But once I started thinking about it, it made sense. And this is why it made sense to me. I was like, wait, I've been in a relationship for over a decade. I've been married for longer than most people are married. And we have a kid and we're still doing well. I think I'm doing something right. And then I looked back at some of my old clients. I was like, wait, I've been doing this for them too. But this is why I was scared. I was scared because a lot of people who would come to me when I was just an astrologer and not a coach, they come to me for love and they want to know if it's fated or not. They wanted to know, well, is it in the stars for me to meet my person right now? And for me, it's never a question about if it's meant to be. Like, life is meant to be co-created with the opportunities ahead of us. And so what I always would have to do in those kinds of sessions is empower the way people like to experience love, empower the way that you like to relate to other people, and really co-create that kind of relationship. It's not about what's more opportune or not, or if it's fate or not. It's more about what it is that you really want and being in your nature. So let's get started. Misguided thought number 1. If I put myself out there, I have a viable candidate in front of me. So I know that when you probably saw this online training, you were thinking, oh, how do I make better discernment and just picking the right dates? And really, what you need to remember is that you are assuming that you have the right pool of candidates in front of you. There's a whole lot of work that goes in front of that. So a lot of times we do all these apps and we select the different criteria about like who we are, what we're wanting to attract, and we make a little description and all that. But we don't realize that the technologies for apps, for example, have to then look at our behaviors to see to see what kind of person we actually like. And so the technologies have to learn more about us in order to attract, to put us to the right people. So if we get distracted by somebody who seems really hot, or we get distracted by someone who seems really weird, all of a sudden we're teaching these apps that we want somebody else in our life, and it's a type of distraction. The same type of distractions happen in our life too. We get really fascinated by somebody because they have a quirky personality, or we find them attractive in some way without really being in tune with what the person and the relationship that we're actually wanting to have in our lives. So um, it's so just, this is just this key skill here. The first key skill is to attract the right people, and the first one is to make a list of qualities that you want in a person. So what is a quality? So the qualities that I would like you to imagine for attracting the ideal relationship is, but how you interact. Are you the type of person who wants to have soft and gentle touch, so you want like them to slip a hand into your hand and have that be a quiet, fun little thing? Or are you somebody who just wants to like just be like lifted up into the air and like having spontaneous fun somewhere? So you need to decide what is it that's really going to light you up, not in a way that it's like a romance novel where it's over the top, but really from the inside, what it is that you feel like is your true nature, and what is a compliment to bringing out the best in you. Um, and you'll know that you're on track with finding the right qualities of your relationship, of your ideal relationship, because your body will start to relax. Actually, you'll start to breathe a little bit deeper, you'll start to feel more calm, and you feel like you're in your essence. So this is one way of attracting the right type of person. The next, so sorry, I was making good. So you're going to feel the frequency, which is the relaxing feeling. And then what you want to do is develop a familiarity with it, so that you get in touch with it daily. And this is going to later help on when you're getting ready for the discernment process. So am I going too fast? Everyone keeping up with me? And there's like so much I want to share. Okay. So next is mindsets that go into attracting the right people. Um, I believe that you need, that you can't conceive or perceive something unless it really can exist. So if you are going through this uh, imagination process, and that really is getting your body in a place where it feels grounded and relaxed, that there is some truth to it. And I don't believe that you can have that kind of thing, that is an illusion to be creating fantasies like that. Illusions are when we don't feel grounded. Illusions carry us off into to the distance. So if you're feeling in your body and you're feeling relaxed, you can trust that that is an inner guidance, and it is a compass to lead you in the right direction. I just want you to think about a time when you in your life really needed to be somewhere or do something, and you were just called to be in the right place at the right time. And that is from the same inner compass or moment. So for example, right before I met Anthony, I had an invitation to go to a party that I was not interested in going to at all. The day rolls around and I have this uncontrollable like itch under my skin, like I gotta go to this party. And when I go to I grab a friend, I go to the party, and there I meet Anthony. And the moment I met Anthony, there is something that inside of me, I go, oh, there goes that out the window, because I had thought to stay single my whole life. And instead what showed up was Anthony, someone who I had a feeling was going to be the person I'd spend the rest of my life with. So far, that's the case. So really, I know that you probably also had a time where like you just felt like you needed to be somewhere and you were there. The same is true for who your ideal match is. Next mindset is to also trust that you have everything it takes to know how to use your inner compass. So this basically boils down to intuition, and it's not about forecasting your future. It's about creating your future. So what the universe understands in law of attraction is energy and emotion. That's the easiest thing to relay. So if you align yourself and tell the universe what you really want, you're creating the opportunity to actually create what your heart's desire or your inner compass has. So this is a feminine superpower that has kind of been lost in the rise of the professional capacity of women. And as we've learned how to embrace our inner masculine, and this is a time when women like us can really balance the balance our inner masculine and inner feminine. And this is an opportunity for you to use your feminine traits of your intuition, of your inner knowing, and then also your masculine traits to go and put that out there and take action on the things, because you have the strong mindsets of these two mindsets, that you can trust yourself with that. And the last thing I would say about attracting the right people is the reconceptualization of your self-image. So this is a bit of a bonus thing. So first, the first thing that's important is to work on your ideal relationship and getting familiar with the feel of that. So when you're familiar with the frequency of your ideal relationship, it's like you can put that shirt on you and it's familiar. You feel that softness, you feel that groundedness. It's something that's familiar to you. The second level to that is imagining who you are as a result of being in a quality relationship like that for a long period of time, let's say like 2 years. So the misconception that a lot of people have is that they need the relationship in order to become that person, but it's actually going to be becoming that person, being in the process of becoming that person that attracts the person that's attracted to co-create that kind of relationship. Does that make sense? I'm going to try saying it a different way. So it's you're going to have a better chance to attract someone who matches the person you become in your ideal relationship by being that person now than you do by waiting for that person. So this requires you to reconceptualize your self-image, meaning to see yourself as already becoming that woman, and then you can co-create so much easier. All right, is everyone getting value out of this so far? I hope so. Leave me, awesome, Thea. Leave me a comment about what you're liking so far, if you feel so inspired. And now we're going to go to the second misguided thought. I'm not settling if I'm open-minded to see how things go. I don't want to be petty and needy. So if you've been single a while, or you're a little bit older than you think you should be to be dating around, you might be very open to being flexible to what you can get. And I understand that. Because it could seem like, well, logically speaking, maybe it seems like people are married and happy, and or the men that are left just want to have a booty call or whatever it is. But it's this kind of open-mindedness to see what you can compromise and not, that actually sets up bad boundaries for yourself. So and a lot of us who've been in relationships are familiar with codependent relationships because we've been raised like that as women, to be subservient and to support a man without thinking of ourselves first, or to support anyone really, to support families, to support friends before we support ourselves. And when you are going into a potentially new relationship with the thought of being open-minded to see how it goes, you're setting yourself up for some bad feelings in the end. So I know that you are probably a very kind person, a very loving person, and you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, especially if it's a nice guy. Like, okay, well, I've tried all the narcissistic egomaniacs who just want a booty call. So should I really give this nice guy a chance? It's just this mindset is like treating your relationship like a Band-Aid, And if it really isn't feeling like that sleeve of the relationship that you've become familiar with, you're also just wasting his time. And so it's actually more loving to let somebody go and find their true match, and you both can move on, and you can also go find somebody who's a better match for you. So here, the skill right now is loving discernment. So when it comes to choosing who you want to date and who you want to continue to date, you need to have loving discernment. So dating, as I mentioned in the beginning, is one of the most vulnerable acts human beings can do with each other. And here you meet a complete stranger in the hopes that you can create a bond and enjoy each other's intimacy. I mean, whether it's emotional intimacy, physical intimacy, it's huge what we're asking ourselves to do as strangers. And so it's one of the best ways to get to know all the different characters of humanity and appreciate them and grow your own tolerance for all different kinds of people. And tolerance is the energy of love. So discernment area number one is being able to see that everyone belongs, everyone has their place, and love is everywhere. So even if this person isn't right for you, it doesn't mean that you have to that you have to be rejecting. And likely, and the same, like when you are letting someone move in their own way, you're giving them another path in a loving way. You are inviting them to a whole new you're inviting them to a whole new way of relating. Yes. I, Amen, Carrie. Love the idea that everyone belongs and desires love. So um, so yeah, everyone has their place, and we come from a space of unity. We're going to talk spiritually, and although we can have a unity consciousness, it doesn't mean that we are all united, we're all one yet. It just means an awareness. So we can, every cell of our bodies belongs to a whole. And should a heart cell and a liver cell try to get together and make a new cell, that probably wouldn't work, right? But does that mean that the whole organism or the whole body doesn't belong together? That's not true. They do recognize each other's place, their other belonging, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be the ones that are the ones that meant to connect and grow together. So the whole can also thrive by recognizing that each part has its own place. So for example, can you imagine if a liver cell was attacking a lung cell because they didn't get along? The whole organism would suffer as a result of that. So what I'm saying here in terms of dating and the humanity of us as a whole humanity, trying to see that the people in front of you do have a place to belong, and it serves them to let them have their place, and it serves you to have discernment for who is right for you. So this isn't about trying to pick partners that relate to your childhood or adult trauma. It's about the person you're growing into. So this is just an evaluation. It's not a judgment call. So instead of you compromising yourself, be open to really receive the person that complements the person you're growing into. And if this person can't do that for you at this time, just let them free so they can find a better match for them at this point of their lives. Does that make sense? I think so. I really went on that one because to me, it's so important. All right. So the clearer you are, the more you free him to find his love. Awesome. Next is the inner compass. So by doing the work at the beginning, you have your familiar relationship frequency connected to yourself, and you can tune in to see if it's a match or not. So when you do this, you're not just looking at the picture of him, for example, in a profile. You're not just looking at the description. You're really trying to get a feel for the person. So maybe you're looking into their eyes. Maybe you're looking at your first impressions and just noticing your first impressions, because there is resonance. When you take two musical options in their musical instruments, and you put them at the same frequency, resonance, one, you can vibrate one, and the second one who's in the same frequency, it'll also vibrate. And the same thing is true to your ideal relationship. if you are familiar with it, you can look to someone's eyes and you can feel like, okay, is this in resonance or not to the frequency of the relationship that I want to co-create or not? And this is going to be one of the fastest ways for you to quickly choose who you even want to date, and also choose who you want to do second, third, or even more dates on. So that's a pretty simple idea, but how is that resonating? Anyone have any questions about that? Okay. Save your questions until the end. All right. So can you grow into this relationship together? And this is one of my favorite questions about discernment. So um, I'm not saying that everyone here should be trying to look for their soulmate. I know that's kind of radical in this space and field I'm at. But for me, what I would love for you to have is someone who is an amazing fit to grow your life together, someone who brings out the best of you, someone that inspires you, someone that makes you feel happy to be alive, and that together you can do something greater than you can do alone. So um, let's go there for a second. Let's pretend that you actually have met your soulmate, you've met your match, and you would think that soulmates are supposed to just get each other right away. Now, what we forget is that we're human beings, we're souls in human being bodies, and souls will have to meet each other a whole life of what's happened before this moment of getting together. So you might be the perfect complement to each other, but the lives you've had up to now, you need some catching up to it. So maybe he hasn't lived up to his potential yet, and you think, okay, this guy is just trying to take advantage of me, and he's really kind of a bum, and there's really no, like, he's not living up to his potential. It's really I feel such a connection with him, but I feel like he could be someone who fits my ideal relationship, but he's just not living up to his potential. I don't think this would work out because I'm not really feeling like he's holding the masculine energy that I need to feel supported in my life. And so this is why you want to be very sensitive to these moments, because you can invite him to go deeper into the energy of what you would like to co-create and see if he goes into it. So does he take action on his growth if that's important to you? So let's say you want to have a partner who's willing to look at their stuff and then grow and eventually and be able to help other people. So if you notice something that is an area of growth, you can just ask him like, hey, uh, what have you done in the past for things you felt a little insecure about? Like, what do you do to improve yourself? And if he goes into that kind of conversation, which is an important conversation to you, then you can say, oh, well, maybe he can grow into this relationship. Um, Also, if you're somebody who really needs to have deep kinds of conversations, if he's just kind of doing the small talk, you can invite him to go deeper into conversation. Oh, what did you mean by that? um, can we talk about that a little bit deeper? And if he goes into that, like, okay, well, maybe he can grow into this relationship in this way. Or let's say that you're the type of person who really just likes to have fun, then you would invite him to do maybe something more spontaneous and see if he goes for it. And this isn't about testing, it's about discernment. Like, okay, like, you may not be exactly who I need you to be, who I would like you to be right now. And what this kind of relationship that I envision could be, but let's see if you have if you have what it takes inside of you to grow something like what I'm thinking about. So let's see if I look at my notes here. Yeah. So another thing is, does he respond for your need for space if you get triggered? So maybe if you get triggered and you want, if in processing your emotions and just being present is important to you, like, you can say, hey, I'm feeling a little bit triggered right now. Can I just have a moment? And if he respects that, like, okay, he's a winner. Like, this is someone I can grow with. All right. So that's the discernment number 2. Let's move on. Misguided thought number 3. So if it's meant to be, nothing can stop it. Now, this I'm just going to go right into the skill. it's choosing a supportive environment. So um, every person has a different environment to fit their personality. I've been talking a little bit about this throughout the thing here. And maybe, and this is a friend's story comes to mind. So she actually was on Tinder just to put herself out there, and she went to go meet somebody. And they chose a trendy new restaurant. And uh, she immediately kind of felt her skin crawling. It was like way too much energy going on, and she really couldn't feel relaxed. And luckily, the person she was in front of saw that she was feeling uncomfortable and just and invited her to choose a different place, one that was like calmer, not as loud, and for some place they could really connect and talk. And this couple actually ended up just getting married last September. And uh, and yeah, so with the support, so but let's say like he didn't suggest to go to another space. These two people I think are such a compliment, such a great fit for each other. And if they would have believed that if it's meant to be, they may have oh, my Siri is going off. Okay. uh, if they really were meant to be, then maybe it would just have taken a longer path to get there. Maybe they wouldn't have connected again. Who knows what would have happened? But this is really about choosing your supportive environments when you're making your dates. So maybe you found some good candidates. You want to make sure you have some good physical environments. So just know what kind of places bring out the best side of your inner knowing of yourself. So, what places complement the personality of the woman you're going to be in the relationship you want to co-create? And this is where after being honest about who you are and the type of compliment you have for who you're attracting, this should be pretty easy to be like, okay, like, yeah, I don't need to pretend I'm somebody else and be super cool to go to the hot new place if I'm just really kind of someone who loves to be at home and watch movies most of the time. so um so really be honest with yourself about what kind of places bring out the best person in you. The second one here is the emotional environment. So connection is part physical, but it's also emotional. So you want to be in a space that you can be generous with your spirit and the value of your stories. So stories are one of the most effective ways to share your emotional environment with somebody and really create connection really fast. And I would love for you to be able to choose some stories in advance that show the person you're becoming, or show how you deal with the hard time of your life, how you deal with the struggle, and focus on what you did to get through it, because this is demonstrating the character that you are and the character that you're becoming. So you're setting yourself up to have emotional connections with somebody that is talking about the person you're becoming in the relationship and what the kind of tones you want to have in that relationship that you're co-creating. So um, choose some stories, but maybe you have a few available to you, but you don't want to do all of them at the same time or the same date. You really want to give yourself the time and space it takes to really give the weight to the story. And by giving the weight to the story that it deserves and not rushing through it, you are actually showing confidence that they have confidence in yourself, that you are in for having more than one date. You don't need to try to pack everything in here to get someone's like and attention, that you have nothing to prove. And this is a great way to have somebody really stay connected to you and want to ask you for more dates, especially if you like them. And yeah. So what stories highlight your character? Just think about that for a moment for yourself. And the second emotional part is what happens if you get triggered. So it's inevitable that uh, sometimes we get triggered, sometimes we feel a little bit exposed, sometimes we feel unsure about how to respond because we have an emotional response. And I'm not saying that with a new date you want to linger in it and process it and like do all the stuff that you could do um, in different kinds of environments, but your ability to acknowledge what's happening inside of you is actually something that will make you stand out from the rest of the crowd. A lot of uh, women tend to bury their emotions, and then it starts to become like a volcano. The lava is going and going, going and going, and then one day we just erupt with all these emotions. It's a big mess. Men feel like they don't know what to do to help out, to make you feel better, and we don't even know what we want when we get like that. um, because it's all the emotions that have not been in process. So when you're feeling something, you can say, "Hey, um, I'm feeling a little. I feel a bit triggered right now. It's my own stuff, because honestly, it is your own stuff. Can you just give me a couple of moments to breathe through it, and so I could be more present with you?" And that's the key word here, is like, I want to be present with you. And so they know that you know how to take care of yourself, which hopefully you do. And that you also know how to ask for what you want. So men love to be able to help out and support and to make women happy. And if you give them the information about how to support you to make you happy, they feel more empowered and supportive, and they actually start to take that more masculine role that many of us want to have. That doesn't mean that they're the macho men, but that they're really supportive to our inner experience. So is it weird to say, "Hey, I'm feeling something right now"? Yes, that's weird, but I don't think that necessarily that should be weird, because it's healthy, right? So I'm inviting you to create a culture within the relationship that you're making that is supportive to your emotional environment, that is emotionally healthy. Do something that Mr. Rogers would be proud of, that you actually acknowledged your feelings and you move through it. Okay, next environment, mental. So when there's a lot at stake, especially with all this effort that you put into the attraction, into the discernment, your monkey brain could go crazy and start the crazy talk. And so instead of pushing that monkey brain around and trying to push it away and get lost in it, um, I want you to just to catch the negative thoughts and turn it into positive. So you can say, "Oh," to yourself, you can say, "I hear you. You seem scared. This is a safe place. I am free to share as much as I want. I am free to share as little as I want. I can leave. I can stay as I please. This is a safe place." So, in the hierarchy of needs, safety is often, I think, is the base of all the things. And our monkey brains, when they start to go into these negative spirals, it's just trying to protect us. That part of the brain is this brainstem, actually. It's the same part that controls our unconscious thoughts. It's the flight or fight part of our brains. And it's the part that remembers when you got hurt in the past, how you got hurt in the past, and it's just trying to prevent you from getting hurt. So um, use your higher level brain, your consciousness, to stick with the game plan of all these things you've been doing to create this environment, to create this positive experience that you have. And just keep reminding yourself, I decided on this. I am familiar with what I want. I can feel the joy and expansion with what I want. And this is a different path. Yes, it's a different path, but I'm safe to do it, and I'm safe to leave as much as I want. Okay. So now this is kind of what we've learned. We've said hello to the common misguided thoughts, and you better understanding how they might not be serving you. You've learned 3 key skills: how to attract the right people, what a loving discernment really looks like, and where supportive environments are for you, physically, emotionally, and physically, emotionally, and mentally. Okay, oops, let me go back one. So how was that for everyone? Was that awesome? Do you see yourself being able to do these? I hope you do. Just let me know in the chat box, like, which skill you're most excited to really hone in and get even better at. So I know you want to go deeper into some of these subjects, I'm guessing, and I'll open up the Q&A soon. But first, I want to share the details of my Attract Love at First Sight program. So this is a program that I'm going to give one tuition scholarship for. And I think this will also help some answers. It could help some questions that you had that came up during this training. And so after I finish talking about that, then we can go right into the Q&A, okay? Here we go. So here we go. I've designed this program to help you rewrite the script. And I've made it because people thought that my and other love stories were anomalies. Everyone's usually saying like, yeah, right, it will happen for me where I feel the itch under my skin. I go to a party and I meet the man I'll spend the rest of my life with. But then the same things happen to a lot of my other clients. And I want you to also have some of that power of knowing that you're with the right person. I want to have more empowered, heart-filled women in the world. So for me, I'm really excited about women who've been able to make independent lives, take care of themselves, and get along just fine, but to decide to add the element too of having a heart-filled relationship. Because I really believe that when men and women can really come together and rise together to a new kind of relationship, which is the kind of relationships I think we're all talking about today, that really gives an effect of making a better influence in the world. And I think that's a way to world peace, honestly. And I've also made this program because I've done programs like this before. And it's just so fun to see women come out happier, more focused, and more grounded. So if you ever struggle with finding high quality love matches, then you probably know what it's like to sink deeper and deeper into the emotions and lose track of the ultimate heart desire. Feel embarrassed or ashamed because you have no one to bring to holiday parties or home for the holidays. Sorry to go there, but it's the truth. And worry when is the next time you'll have to welcome touch again. Welcome touch. So you don't want to be touched by anyone, but you do want to be touched by someone. It's human, feels good. And then you also wonder if you'll ever be able to keep a good thing going. So Blair, she said, these days it's almost like quantity over quality. It's difficult to cut through the people and find the one there might be a real connection with. Kristen helped me think about things in terms of abundance instead of scarcity, to stop clinging onto the things that aren't working. Things she really meant relationships or serving me. She helped me be more open to people, being more open to possibilities. So some breakthroughs that you might have are you can break relationship patterns before you even meet them. You can weed out most of the bad matches without ever having to interact with them. You can heal beliefs and bad habits that make you settle or push away too fast. Facilitate grace and maturity in communication through what I call radical communication. We touched on that a little bit today. And reveal better strategies to take care of yourself, take care of your boundaries that don't cut you off from yourself or shut others out. It's such a big subject. And boost your confidence to enjoy the attention you get. And finally, a breakthrough you might have is to reclaim your right to be truly matched with someone you co-create your ideal relationship together. Own it. I want you to have that now. So just claim that right now. Mine. All right. I got some pop-ups happening. Not good. So this is an example schedule. For me, I really like to listen to what's happening in the group and accommodate and blend to that. But this is a schedule that I can imagine happening very well. So for week one is orientation and inner compass work. So this would be things like, I don't know why it's not working anymore. Okay, this would be things like, my screen is not working. Okay, I got it to work now. Learning your ideal relationship, learning who you are in that ideal relationship, also just figuring out your ideal date, all these things that are going to be very helpful for you to basically be able to do well in the rest of the program. Week 2 could be expressing your inner essence. So a lot of times our whole lives we've been trained as women to make ourselves sexual objects, to um, or to learn how to please somebody else in order to be attractive. And I find that the more you find a way to express who you are on the inside, whether it's clothing, what you talk about, etc., the more attractive you actually are, and that can happen in many different areas. Week 3 could be something like emotional profiles. So there's people that are sometimes more introverted or empathic. There's other people who are kind of enter this like too much bubbling up type of personality. Another type of personality I see pretty often is they're very process oriented. And so we'll talk into what those emotional profiles are and figure out what your communication strategy should be so that you can really be true to who you are and be present, because emotional intelligence is also about presence and being able to create connection very fast. Week 4 could be things like boundaries. We all have boundaries that are changing all the time. So this is getting in touch with where you are right now, learning what your hard lines might be and how to communicate them with love, and also the growth lines, things that may be unnecessary boundaries that you're holding. And week 5 would be workshopping your personal dating strategy. So whether you are looking then to start your looking for your people online or in person, we would basically bring all of this into focus and shape it in a way that could really make your action, your inner masculine, really find what you already know. So Karen, just want to tell you a little bit about her. She got super clear on the frequency of her ideal relationship and the way she had to relate to it every day. So she would imagine it as a giant hug, this bear hug behind her. And I loved her smile every time she reminded herself of it. And so she started changing her relationship to herself, keeping that frequency. And she started noticing and interacting people differently. She's like, oh, I feel happy around this person. Oh, I feel uncomfortable. And she would go into it with curiosity and new eyes because she saw herself in a new way and she knew the energy she was holding. So then she ultimately decided to do an online platform. She was super overwhelmed by it. She cried through doing generic questions, having to answer questions about her physical appearance. And then she went ahead and followed my instructions for the personalized cards. And one day later, she checked it. She had 5 people interested. 3 people messaged her, and 1 felt like her hug from behind. And so she went out with a coffee date with him. And 10 hours later, they exchanged. 10 hours later, they had their first date was ended. And they had this cute little, I remember she just waved to like, goodbye, have a good day, see you next time. And that week, they saw each other, I think, 3 or 4 more times. They exchanged a love word because for them, they both were at a point of their lives where when you know. They moved in together a couple months later, and their whirlwind romance continues to this day. He was saying that he was looking for a nice Ford, and then he got a Ferrari instead. And they can really talk about anything from martial arts, tantric yoga, music, and sailing. So they really are a great match to each other. So here's some practical information. This is a private Zoom call, and if you, just like today, if you can't do the Zoom, you can call in. They're 90 minutes long. I try to make them 90 minutes, but sometimes with all the Q&As, I go over because I really like to give. So you get some training on subjects like we talked about today. You get some personal coaching, and so you can integrate what we're learning between the different weeks, and you get to ask your questions. So we also will have an option to partner up and be accountable to one another. I love when women support women. It just really helps us show up to better for ourselves. Even though we know we want to show up for ourselves, we often show up for other people better. So really we can think of this as a we mindset. When I help you, I'm also helping myself. So the investment part. So I just wanted to tell a really quick story. When I was at the time my spiritual awakening, that's what people call it, right? I was also at the emotionally most trying part of my life. Uh, my boyfriend at the time was, he turned into an ex, and I was living with him, and I had no job and no ability to actually leave. And I just felt like a total sinkhole. I just felt my soul felt empty. I was really miserable. I didn't feel like I could give to anyone or anything, including myself. But luckily, I was in the spiritual awakening part of my life, and I was forced to just look at myself. And um, I should say too, like I felt so bad. I didn't want to even ask my family for help. So I looked at myself, and I would sit there with my new connection to spirit. I was looking for answers, and it was always my answers were always about ways I could improve myself and have compassion for the journey that he was going through. And when I and that also to have faith that he would come back around. And like, to any sane person, this is absolutely insane to just stay there. And I was like, okay, well, I decided to have faith with what I know, and to have and my connection that I have. So once I did this work and I had the guidance, my boyfriend actually did come back around, and the way that we decided to come together, it was like we were in the same bodies, but totally different mindsets and people. Sure, we had the same experiences, but the way we related to each other was totally different. And I believe it's because of the work I did in myself to create the space for that new kind of relationship. Um, so going into that, let me see if my notes. I always get sidetracked here. Um, Also, in that time of spiritual revolution, I was just spiritual awakening. I was noticing synchronicities around me, and to me, the synchronicities weren't just happen chances like the word suggests. It was really real. It was like my state of being. The world would respond to that. I would see people, I would see animals, I would see a situation happen in front of me that would be a response to exactly what I was thinking or a questioning I would have. So um, these are things I still do to this day, and this program is the same practices that I do to this day, because to attract all the people in my life. So whether they are new people, which is an easier thing to do, or if it's somebody new, it's like that's hard to work through, but it is possible. Um, I do believe you can get the same results. So it isn't just about attracting the love of your life. It's really about the relationship to yourself, and just trying to just impress that part upon you. This is about the relationship to yourself, so you can create anything you want. And I think love is probably the most fulfilling one to have. So I don't want you to go through the trenches that I went through. Like, I want you to just have the magical part of it, where you, by you connecting to yourself and really generating that frequency within you, embodying your own energies, that you can create the magic like I did. And these practices are simple, so you can tune your energetic muscles to make them work for you too. And it's about attracting love, but also about everything in your heart's desire. So I believe that when you do this, you really can do anything. And like I said, nothing better than being inspired by love. So bonus for this program is you get 2 free one-on-one calls with me, one at the beginning for both 15 minutes. One at the beginning is for us to try to just get an assessment of where you are, and how to shape some of your orientation type of calls to in a more personal level. One's at the end of our program, so you can get some more feedback about how your strategy is, also what you're wanting to do after our time together. And it's with me, so we'll have fun together. The value of that's $1,000. And so what you're going to get here is the 5 live group training coaching calls with me. That's the worth of it, $1,250, and then the $1,000 for this. And this is what the whole thing's worth, $2,250. And I'm just asking for $500 basically. And I want to also offer you a sign up now bonus, which isn't actually sign up now. It's just, I want you to apply before Friday, because I know we all need time to process and think through things. So if you do want to sign up before Friday, I'll give you 3 15-minute sessions with me. And that's the worth. So basically you're getting almost the same amount of value as what you're actually paying in bonuses, the sign-on bonus. So this is what you do to apply. You email me at inspire@kristen.today. You can make that your subject, or you just say, hey, more info, or I want to apply. I'll get it. And I'll send you a really short application just to make sure this is the right fit for both of us. And also in that application will be a question for you to apply for the tuition scholarship, meaning that you get to go to this program completely for free. Just have you ask a quick question, answer a quick question about that. So with that, I am excited to get to the Q&A part. Let me get out of this screen. Let's see here. Can you see me? Yeah. All right. So if you're on a phone call, I believe that the unmute is *4. But I love that somebody's named Manifest Dream Builder here. You're amazing. Okay. So let me answer your questions about the program, and answer your questions about the topic today of the 3 skills to landing awesome dates. I'll just unmute everyone. Be easier that way. Okay. All right. I'm gonna mute that person. All right. So I'm just gonna answer some questions that I thought of in advance. So the question is, will this work in my culture? So for me, what I'm really inviting you to do is what I feel is a universal truth, working on the things related to law of attraction, but also human nature. And so the beginnings of this work, I think, work across any culture, any people. And as we get into the work, I'm inviting you to identify what is your personal culture, meaning your personal culture of the type of quality relationship you want. Sure, it might be influenced from your family and from your friends and from your social conditioning, but it really to decide to live life on your own terms and in partnership with somebody else, it's about building your own culture. So yes, this is about making it work for your own personal culture. Another question could be, what if I'm a total beginner? So a lot of this, so let's see, Carrie. Carrie's a question. I'll answer it after I finish this one. The manifest, wait, what's going on here? Okay. So what if I'm total beginner? So a lot of these things I think are really innate skills inherent in everyone, especially women. As I mentioned earlier in the presentation, I do believe that generating something from nothing is a innate power that all women have. And as we embrace our own ability to exist in the world independently, we also have the ability to integrate our innate strengths and become a super version of ourselves. And that is something I think all of us can do. We all have had moments where we needed to be at the right place at the right time, and we've done it. I really do believe that a beginner and advanced person would be able to do it. Okay. So Carrie had a question here in the comments. Do you think you will do it again at the same price, or is this a one-time deal? Thanks for asking that. I think this is a price that I'm comfortable with for a program like this, because this is a very specific goal here. The goal is to be able to help you attract someone that you can feel like you have love at first sight, or just about. Um, and I don't know if I'll teach this exact program again. I do know that the bonuses will have to change. My private coaching, one-on-one coaching business is um, my one-on-one coaching business is starting to fill up. I only have a couple slots left for that, and I imagine that filling up in the first beginning of next year. So I don't know if the bonuses will be the same. So I would take advantage of this opportunity right now, because you have the opportunity to work with me one-on-one twice. And if you do sign up before Friday, it would be those 15-minute sessions, which um, are great because you can ask a specific question and we can get down to the nut of it, give you something to do, and all of that. Uh, does that answer your question, Carrie? I think it should. Let's see, she said something else here. Yeah, okay. So she says, it seems like this is the same price as one session with me. While that is true, I don't let anyone just sign up for one session with me. I don't believe that is what serves people, and I'm here to get results. I'm not here to just collect money here and there. I used to do astrology sessions, one-offs, and I just felt so rotten about leaving. I just felt like it was just information. I didn't know if I didn't have any ability to support someone long term to make sure they actually were getting what they wanted to and living their best version of themselves. So um, yeah, so this is a 5-week program. You do get to work with me. It is a more affordable option for people who aren't yet ready to work with me one-on-one. And I do have it over 5 weeks because I do feel like you can make significant progress on the path of sustained love with that. So I do feel like this is a great value, and that's right. Okay. Thanks for asking that question. Anyone else have a question? So another one might be is like, what if I don't have any money? um, money is the money is relative. I do believe that we can manifest money. I remember when I was a dancer and choreographer, I was just really working all the time to just pay for my rehearsal space. There was a time when money was so low, I was thinking about signing up for food stamps. And I had this opportunity to join a women's group, and it was thousands of dollars. And I just felt like in my heart that it was really the right thing for me to do. And so I'm on like an enrollment call or something, and I know my truth. And when I know my truth, at that point, I'm just like, okay, gotta go, figure it out later. I know not everyone's like that, but what happened for me is that I I said I wanted to do it, and then the person said, actually, someone donated some money, so if you want to just join us, you basically have a scholarship to do this group with us. And I did that. So I do want to invite you, if you're feeling cash strapped and you really are feeling drawn to what we had to talk about today, to really let yourself let that be a like a not a example of what you could create for yourself, and probably what you can probably create for yourself in finding love too. It's just really strange that the magic of trying to like actually work together. A lot of times the work involved in saying yes to something that really means a lot to you helps you have the breakthrough to the result that you even paid for to get in the first place. I don't know why it works that way, but it seems to be true. There's someone named Manifest Dream Builder that unmuted themselves. Maybe they had something they wanted to say, or ask me even about the content of training itself. Nope, she left. Okay, no problem. All right. Anyone have a question about one of the skills? Like, what did I mean by it, or how to do it? Okay, Thea, let me unmute you.
About the mental part that you were talking about,
The what?
the mentality,
Oh, the
the
mental environment?
yeah.
Yeah. What about it?
Um, I didn't quite grasp it when
Okay. So, so for that, to just kind of recap where we were in that thinking, is that we were talking about uh, you can set yourself up to attract the right person, but then there are creating the positive environments that are going to help you actually connect with that person and grow the right relationship with them. So for for the mental environment part was a lot of times when we are really feeling connected to someone, we get a little bit excited or nervous, and we have a lot of chatter happening in our heads. And it's important to, instead of trying to stop the chatter from happening, which is the natural instinct for most people, it's important to try to acknowledge it, because that's going through is often the easiest way out. So say, I see you, I hear you, um, I know you're really excited, or it seems like you're a little bit scared. Um, I know what I'm doing. I'm safe here. So a lot of times, that's those kind of chatter things are fear-based to try to distract us from actually connecting. Like, oh, don't share too much right away, because then you'll just get trampled over. Like, I'm free to leave. I'm free to share as much as I want or not. And this is I am safe here. And so it's encouraging yourself to change the story mentally as
Mhm.
you're going about it, because you've done so much work up to that point to ensure that you've attracted a high quality person, to ensure that you are in touch with yourself, so you're not sharing anything more or less than what you feel is important for you to communicate about who you really are, and see if they want to co-create with that. And Danny, thanks for your question. We get right to it. um, and then with that mental awareness, like you're it just doesn't happen automatically. You have to give your brain some new opportunities to rewrite the story, because although we're just trained to survive, so otherwise that kind of like fast chatter can take over, and we just have to keep encouraging it. Okay, I hear you, and what this is what's actually happening. This is what I've been working on. Things are going as planned, and you can feel safer in your body, you can feel safer in your mind, and you can actually continue to connect with the person and go forward to see to move things forward or not, according to those discernment things. Does that make more sense?
I think so. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for asking. All right. Danny asks a question. Let me drink some water. Are you supposed to feel the feel as soon as you meet them, or does it take time? And that's really relating to the discernment slide. Okay. I would say the feel is something that you probably are going to get a feel for before you even get in front of them for the first time, uh, just by the nature of your it's normal to have text conversations beforehand, uh, and so I have a feeling that you get first impressions before you even meet them. And then once you actually are meeting in front of each other, the adrenaline goes up. You have different kinds of things happening physiologically to you that can mask the feels. But that's why you have yourself armed with your the ways that you want to express yourself, including your stories, including the way that you're dressed, and the ways that you wanted to use your emotional profiles to actually your emotional nature to connect with them. And it's through the process of seeing how a whole night unfolds that you will get a series of tones that help you understand if it matches the feel or the frequency of the person that you've been looking to attract. So I wouldn't, not everyone has the same kind of intuition. So basically, this boils down to intuition. And not everyone has the same kind of intuition. The way my intuition works, it's very fast. It's kind of like a lightning bolt. It's an inner knowing that's called clairsentience. And a lot of the people I tend to attract in my life, they are people who have a psychic feeling, and the psychic feeling is one of the slowest ones to come in. It's usually a gut level type of thing, and it just takes time to kind of sit with it and wait it out, and then you can kind of feel into it. Some other types of intuition could be primarily like a hearing focused, primarily a vision focus. Basically, whatever physical sense you have an intuitive sense too, and we all lean stronger or less stronger on each one of them. So, in each one of those has its own speeds. So, I wouldn't put a time to how you're supposed to feel it, but the more familiar you are with the frequency of what you're looking to co-create, and the easier you'll be able to figure out if you have resonance or not, and quicker than you would without using that kind of skill. How does that work for you, Danny? Does that answer it a little bit, I hope? Let me see. Let me try to unmute her. I unmuted you, Danny. Does it help? Yes, thank you. Okay. I'm into text. That's good. All right. Any other questions on the content? This is fun. I hope we get to do this more because I really like to go deep with people. Okay.
So I had a question. So it sounds like in the first part, you just kind of go really deep with connecting with yourself, the way that you want to feel, and the way that you can like authentically feel confident in showing up as yourself. Am I is that like a good, is that, am I on target in terms of what you are?
Because to me, what I think I understood you correctly. To me, what law of attraction really is the universe. I think for me, the universe understands energy the most, and the most charged energy that we emit is physically through our energetic system. Some people think of it as chakras, other people think about it as different kinds of energetic bodies. I have my own way of doing that. And another one is about emotions. Emotional energy is also one of the most charged ones we have, and it's because the emotional body. I'm just gonna go there, you guys. The emotional body is connected to the astral body, and the astral is the way that a lot of our spirits are communicating. Even before we meet, it's one aspect of the higher self that is allowing these interventions of people and souls to interact so that they grow. And so for me, it is about relating to your own energetic body, embodying it, and embodying your inner nature, and combining that with the emotional charge. So the emotional tones that you feel like match you are the ones that you're sending out as a frequency. You let it go, and then the world tends to be in communication with you much clearer because you yourself are a clearer vessel. The confidence part of that is definitely true, although I don't want to make it sound like confidence to me looks different in different people. To me, confidence is best described as embodiment, because it's having assuredness within yourself to be at your own pace, to share what is in your truth, and to be in the movement of what is happening, and constructing with that with somebody else. So confidence is really the ability to be sure in what is known, and also to stay sure even as the uncertainty around you is moving around. So um, that's, I think, the three things that you touched into. And the two I think that are most important are really being embodied in your own frequency, what you're wanting to embody, the frequency that you're of the relationship you're wanting to create, and sending and using the emotional charges to get that in there. That was a great summary question. So how do you feel about being able to do that, Carrie?
Sorry, I'm putting on mute so we don't get all of the kid noise. Um,
Hey mom, good question.
I just move forward because I've got my
No
daughter has a question for me.
No problem. Okay. Um, okay. I'm feeling called to do a little bit of a grounding meditation here. I've offered so much mental information, and here I am talking about embodiment and bringing everyone out of their bodies. So if you can, if you're at a place where you can put your feet in the ground, this is just gonna be a quick grounding meditation here, connection. So go ahead and put your feet in the ground and just align your body to be on top of each other in ease as much as possible. So your hips are sitting on your legs in a way that feels balanced. Your shoulders are aligning to your back, and you feel your back gently elongating without forcing yourself to have a stiff back. And the neck also elongates, and feeling that rise, that uplifted energy in your physical body. Allow your tongue to go to the roof of your mouth just behind your teeth. And with your breath, just bring attention to your body. With your mind's eye, bring your attention to your feet. And imagine your feet just sinking into sand and feeling all those microscopic points around you supporting you, and allowing your feet just relax, 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 relax. And allowing your attention to go beyond your feet and feel your feet rooting like rapidly growing roots into the floor below you, energetic roots going further, further into the foundation, going into the earth's crust, deeper, deeper, deeper mantle, into the energetic core of the earth, the spinning metal ball that is our core. And it's electric. There's actually electricity coming out of it. And allow yourself to just be in that heartbeat of the earth. You belong here. You are supported here. You are held here. And take your birthright and take some of this energy to carry up into your own physical body. Assert yourself. I am here. I belong here. Take it up from the core. Keep rising it up, squiggling until you get to the bottom of your feet. Let yourself be energized by this fire, activating your feet and ankles. Releasing with your breath the stale energy, just the tiredness. Allow yourself to be filled with this energetic force from the earth, rekindling that inner essence, that inner identity up through your legs into your hips. Breathe here, feeling your power, your positive sexuality, your right to be here just as you are. And keeping that, letting the energy rise again to your low belly. opening your womb, your feminine spaces of intuition, of knowing, of creativity, keeping that, rising the energy more to your solar plexus and into the back of your body, where your stomach is, relaxing your intestines on the top of your intestines, and rising energy up to your heart space, expanding out of your shoulders into your arms and hands, embracing the bigness of you, the expression of you, the ability to share heart to heart, feeling that love of actually sharing heart to heart. That feels so good right now. Really good job, ladies. And up through your throat, trust in yourself, faith, faith for things you can't understand or control, but doing your part to keep your sacred interiority. Opening that throat space for your expression. There you go. And up through your head, into your jaw, around your brain, circulating around your eyes from the inside to the outside, your third eye, opening the space of seeing the world with more tolerance, more love, the discernment, but also the belonging. And continuing that energy up, rising up through the crown of your head and beyond to your subtle bodies, your intuition, your the more of the spiritual connection, the inner knowing. And just opening this up more and more without forcing the higher knowledge in, just allow yourself to be expansive. And this is a big deal for some of you. Just open up a little bit more. You got this. Yes. Okay. Let your energy rise from the feet to the beyond your crown, this never ending source of presence, embodied presence running through you, circulating into the universe to co create that expansive heart space that we felt. Opening, 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 expanding. You're safe. You're opening. You are radiant. You're magnetic. You are a vessel of love. And allowing yourself to keep this space, feeling that deep groundedness in your pelvis, even though you're expanded so subtly into other bodies right now. Feel your physical presence. Coming back. Ah, okay. So I invite you all to enjoy this expansive space. And if you're feeling like you could benefit from being in a program with me, just send me the email, inspire@kristen.today. I'm not making you give me any money yet. This is just, the questions are designed to help you figure out if this is right for you right now, and also for me to see if I can serve you in the framework of this, what I've been offering here. Well, so if you're feeling called to do that, please do that right away. And I will definitely give you the sign up now bonus, which is actually not now. It's Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So that's noon on Friday. So you have a few days to actually make the buying decision. So for now, I leave you in this space to have your inner knowing. Just check in right now with yourself. Like, is this something that feels right. And if it's a yes, give me an email. If it's a maybe, give me an email, because the questions will help you figure that out. Okay. Oh, I'm so happy to have spent this time with you. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions about today's content, you can also email me, inspire@kristen.today. You can reach out to me on Facebook at kristen.today. And I also have a private Facebook group called Spiritual Woman in Love. You can join me there as well. So thank you so, so much. I will send out the replay tomorrow at some point if all goes well, technologically wise. And thank God Mercury retrograde is almost over. It's over tomorrow. So thank you again. I really appreciate your time with me together today, and I hope to spend some more time with you in the future. Bye, ladies.